The four-legged stool. Care Empowerment Census Budget. Communication. Communication is 90% of your job as an administrator. It is the responsibility of the administrator to develop effective lines of communication with the DON and to ensure all information gets to the administrator and the DON. It is the principal job of every administrator to be the spearhead for establishing lines of communication throughout the building, including all department heads, all other employees, and all residents. This includes groups, all housekeepers, all dietary staff, etc. A lack of communication equals chaos. A department head should not be able to leave without the administrator's approval or miss any mandatory meetings without administrator's approval. Don't rely on nursing. Check everything, including reports for yourself. Make sure that anyone leaving or transmitting reports on residents electronically is using reciprocity, facilities in AHT, and secure messaging, facilities in PCC, or by secure email. Nothing/no emails should be sent to the management office without the administrator's approval, even emails sent between each other. Staff should always CC the administrator on all emails. If the administrator is not responsible for communication, then the administrator will fail. Communication. After communication, the administrator has two main jobs: to enforce state and federal policy, should have Watermelon Book and SOAM. To enforce company policy, should have access to all pertinent company policies and own policies. Policies are written to meet state and federal regulations. Policies set expectations for your employees. All policies are located on the internet for easy access. Check your systems. If you don't test it, why should I do it? When you test it, it makes sense why it's a system. Plus, it's an educational tool where your staff will feed off your leadership and pass it on to new hires. Every system must be tied to a person, or it will not get done. If it is not tied to a person, no one can be held accountable. Social media and the workplace. This generation is all about social media. People will try to sabotage you. If they don't like you, you can't do anything right. If they do like you, you can almost do no wrong. Remember, they may be recording you. Every conversation you must use with wisdom and operate like you are being recorded. Top 10 meetings. Administrators are expected to meet with department heads, DON included, once a week in small homes and every 2 weeks in large homes. Each department head should sign an agreement with the administrator stating they understand the administrator's expectations. See next page. These meetings should contain a performance review, things gathered throughout the week that are liked and disliked, and short-term and long-term expectations, with completion dates/deadlines. Department heads must understand that if they score a 5 or below, this is unacceptable. These meetings should be used to complete system checks in all departments. Also, before closing the meeting, it is imperative that the administrator ask each department head to provide a list of things they would like to see happen in their department from the administrator short-term and long-term. The administrator is responsible for providing each department head with a numbered top 10 list. During the meeting, the administrator should also ask questions to the department head such as, "Do you like working here?" and "How do you feel about the facility?" etc. For this to be a functional meeting, it is imperative that 3 elements exist. 1. Understanding. 2. Acceptance. 3. Agreement. Without these elements, the meeting on some level will be dysfunctional and therefore ineffective. Everything must have a deadline. Everyone should also agree on this deadline, and it should be put in writing. To help with setting and achieving the deadline, set reminders on your phone. Always have the department head sign the top 10 list before leaving. Top 10 meetings. Administrator/department head agreement form. Name. 1. What time do you come in? 2. What time do you leave? 3. Do you understand and agree that you don't leave the building until you check with the administrator? If the administrator is not in building, you have to check with DON. Agree/disagree. 4. Do you understand and agree that you never leave the building when we are dealing with a code of any kind? Agree/disagree. 5. Do you understand and agree that if the administrator or DON gives a priority 1, You can't leave until the priority 1 is done or the administrator gives you the okay to continue until tomorrow. Agree/disagree. 6. Do you understand and agree that you don't leave the building for break or lunch unless you get the administrator/DON's approval? Agree/disagree. 7. Do you understand and agree that as a department head, you are always on call for 911 codes? In other words, you are our first line of defense. Examples: any code, code white, building understaffed, disaster. Agree/disagree. 8. Do you understand and agree that you must always carry your phone and answer it? Agree/disagree. 9. Do you understand and agree that you represent the facility, and you are considered a leader? You are expected to always lead and be positive. Agree/disagree. 10. Do you understand and agree that you can fess up and preach down? Agree/disagree. 11. Do you understand and agree that you are on a on-call rotation and must be ready to come in if needed? Agree/disagree. 12. Do you understand that there is a top 10 list that is to be completed weekly and deadline cannot be missed without the administrator's permission? Agree/disagree. 13. Do you understand that there is a dining room schedule that is set, and you must be in the dining room at your scheduled times? Only the DON or administrator can approve for you to miss or be late. Agree/disagree. 14. Do you understand that if you are salaried, you are expected to put in the number of hours that it takes to ensure that your work is done? Agree/disagree. 15. Do you understand that your department is on call Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday for any emergent situations? Agree/disagree. Top 10 meetings. 16. Do you understand that your schedule can be adjusted according to the needs of the facility? Agree/disagree. 17. Do you understand that all vacations must be approved by department supervisors and administrators? Agree/disagree. 18. Do you understand that if facility is in state of emergency, no vacation is guaranteed to be approved at this point, even if previously approved? Agree/disagree. 19. Do you understand that if you cannot come into work, you must call the administrator? Texting or emailing is not acceptable. Agree/disagree. 20. Do you understand that if you have issues with DON, administrator or the facility, you must communicate your concerns and problems all the way down to formal communication? Agree/disagree. 21. Do you understand that all department heads are required to always work together? All actions between department heads must be professional. Department heads are held to a higher standard than low management. You must always be professional while you are in the building. Also in all meetings, in services, and department head meetings. Agree/disagree. 22. Do you understand as a department head you are required to sign in and out at the front desk? Do not be in the building without signing in and out for fire safety reasons. Agree/disagree. 23. Do you understand as a department head you are required to check your email every 2 hours during work hours? Agree/disagree. 24. Do you understand that all Focus resident interviews must be completed by 9:30 a.m. unless approved by administrator? Agree/disagree. 25. Do you understand that all concerns must be addressed and turned back in by 3 p.m. daily? Agree/disagree. 26. Do you understand that each department head must and will be assigned co-captains by their administrators to meet with daily and complete appropriate documentation? Agree/disagree. 27. Do you understand that if you are an hourly department head, you cannot work overtime without the administrator's approval? Agree/disagree. 28. Do you understand that as a department head you are required to clean out your facility mailbox in front office daily by 10 a.m. Agree/disagree. Review wound pictures weekly. Every wound in the facility should be reviewed weekly by the administrator and DON can be done during top 10 meeting. Nurses should reveal all information pertinent to stages, including but not limited to 1. What stage the wound is in. 2. How many acquired. 3. How many admitted. 4. What are the wound measurements. 5. Are they being reported when giving showers? 6. Has the wound shown improvement within the last 2 weeks? If not, There must be a plan of care change, plan of correction oversight. War rooms and POC binders must be in place for plan of correction oversight. The best way to do a plan of correction is to have department heads handle their own tags. Every administrator and DON should have a watermelon book. Every administrator and every department head should have a state operations manual SOM. It is always best to do a thorough investigation and start from zero, in reference to RNIs, abuse claims, etc. Administrators should always receive all the information pertinent to an investigation and make the final judgment. QLA meeting weekly. The QLA must see the administrator's vision. The only way for them to see it is to show it to them. That is what is to be done in the weekly meetings. Must have documentation to prove these meetings are occurring. Expectations are to be given regarding cleanliness, water passing, ADLs, need to know the birthdays of all staff, major news concerning staff, deaths, anniversaries, domestic violence, closet cleanliness, drawer cleanliness, etc. QLA should be providing a report to the administrator and director of nursing on adaptive equipment and devices, care plans, and changes in resident condition daily. If ACNA is thinking or talking about quitting, you need to know why. Review of the Unit CNA care plans by the administrator. This includes adding/reviewing interventions on page 2. Should be discussing shower refusals at this time. QLA must send voicemails at the end of shift. Should include cleanliness report, resident well-being report. Whatever else may concern the administrator. You can't give good care with poor communication. Priority 1. A directive that a department head, or any employee, cannot leave the facility until the problem/issue is completed. Examples include not having a code status for a resident, safety emergencies, one-on-ones, etc. If you make a resident a priority 1, the DON must give a report on the resident every day. Trust accounts. In any occurrence when dealing with people, you are either fortifying trust, debiting, in a relationship, or withdrawing trust, crediting, from a relationship. Either building or destroying trust. There is going to be a time with every employee when a big withdrawal will be necessary. That is why it is necessary to have a fortified account with each employee. Must think, am I always withdrawing trust and closing the account, or am I depositing trust when we meet? Once trust is lost, it is almost lost forever. You will have to make withdrawals, just make sure you have put in enough deposits. This means constant deposits. Administrative systems. Communication. 2. Top 10 meetings. 3. Priority 1. 4. Trust accounts. 5. Review wound pictures weekly. 6. Walking rounds 3 times a day with DON. 7. QLA meetings weekly. 8. Plan of correction oversight. 9. Department head photos. 10. Staffing meeting daily. 11. Declining budget meeting weekly. 12. Monitoring chaplain process. 13. Mock code greens and code blues. 14. Department head dining room schedule. 15. Code team boards. 16. Ensure that the admission policy is being followed. Admissions meetings. 17. Continuing employee education. 18. Environmental rounds. 19. Resident focus interviews. 20. Weekend administrative duties.